Around late 2020, when I first got into anime as a whole, my brother started watching his first anime, which was different from mine. I watched Attack on Titan while my brother was watching Naruto. If we weren't eating dinner as a family, I'd hear all these YouTube videos about power scaling the Hokage and who's more powerful than who and all these different names, many of which I was unfamiliar with. I thought it was neat, maybe a little annoying since it seemed to last forever, but come January of the next year, the phase had passed and all was good. Or, well, so I thought. That brief period of respite lasted until about May when he asked if I wanted to ever watch Naruto. I don't remember why, maybe he just found out that I had gotten into anime or he had some sort of resurgence with the series, I'm honestly unsure, but he asked whatever the case may be. I said, yeah, I'll probably watch or read it at some point, but it might be a while. Naruto is a series that interests me for its legacy in being one of the big three, one of the best, most popular, most memed, and ultimately one of the most well-known series to widely popularize anime. The little caveat is that it's pretty long whether you're reading or watching it. It's 720 episodes. Remove the filler and you're left with about 400, maybe a bit more, the sources I looked at varied. Even the manga is 700 chapters long, it's not a light series. Now, that didn't mean I wasn't going to read or watch it because that shit doesn't scare me. I started One Piece when it had over 1,000 chapters. You think I cower in the face of long titles? No, of course not. That doesn't mean though that I'm always prepared to pick something up, especially something of that length. I always have a video game to play, a show to finish, a manga to read, something of that nature because I like to have something to do and those are the things that I enjoy. So at the time I thought, I would love to start it, just give me some time, maybe a few weeks or a few months, but yeah, I'll definitely get into it. And my brother said, okay. I thought, great, that's it. That's never it with my brother. The next day. Hey, have you started watching Naruto yet? No. Why not? Well, I just said yesterday that I'm doing other things, but I'll get around to it. It's really good. You should watch it. Okay, cool. And I said I would. The next day. Have you started watching Naruto yet? What did I say yesterday? You said you hadn't started it, so that's my answer. I haven't started it yet. Why not? It's been like 2 days. Give me some more time. How long? Well, at least like a few weeks or until school ends. Why that long? Well, I'm doing other things and it's pretty long. But it's really good. The next day. You should watch Naruto. Brother, can you please stop asking me? It's getting really annoying. Why? Because you're constantly asking me to watch it. That's because it's so good. Well, there are a lot of good things, bud. I just need time to get into it. Okay. Later that evening, watch Naruto. You know, every time you ask me that, I put it off by at least 1 month. Why? Because it's irritating me to hell and back. But I'm just asking you to watch it, but you've asked me repeatedly over and over in such a short amount of time. That's because it's just really good. I really don't care if it's that good. I said I would get to it at some point, just not now. So please stop asking. But it's really— And as I entered what seemed like a never-ending loop that lasted for weeks, answering the same question day after day like I had accidentally pressed A after spamming through an NPC's dialogue while also fulfilling 3/4 of the requirements to become the Hollow Knight, it came. I came down and he asked the usual question, and I said, okay, if you ask me to watch Naruto one more time, I will never in my lifetime ever watch Naruto. After a little bit of back and forth, he very reluctantly agreed to those terms, which he almost broke like an hour later. I had to shout over him to tell him to stop telling me to watch it. Soon after, he went away to my cousins and I was alone watching the house when the final straw was broken. Let's rewind a bit though. Right now we're in late May, so let's go back a month into April. My mother and I had watched the Demon Slayer movie and we were both huge fans of it, but outside of that movie theater we watched it in, it might have been mentioned 3 times in our household. Once before we left, once after we got back, and maybe once a week later when my brother asked about it. That's it. We never mentioned it again. Also, at that point, my brother had never seen Demon Slayer before, but not only had the gall to call it bad without watching it, he even said that we irritated him with how much we talked about it, which is just absolutely not true. So this is relevant how? Well, back at home, I received a text from my beloved brother, and this is what I received. This is technically the only physical proof that I have this happen, but God, I hope it's enough. And I would just like to say, I don't really care if you don't like Demon Slayer, that's cool, but he literally looked up some YouTube videos, screenshotted the thumbnails, sent them to me after I repeatedly told him that if he said anything about watching Naruto, I would not watch it, while on top of that insulting a series that I enjoy. I think that it's understandable to have a sufficient amount of loathing built up from all the events to deny the series purely out of spite, which technically is the ultimate reason for this video. But even though spite is the fundamental motivation for this video, it's not the only one. You see, there's nothing wrong with recommending a series you like to someone. You enjoy it, you want others to enjoy it, and thus you go about spreading the word in hopes that you'll see and share the same joy you discovered when experiencing whatever it is. That's all great, to an extent. If you recommend that series over and over, something triggers. In my case, it was spite. No matter what, I know if I were to watch Naruto, I would only remember it for its lows. I don't want to give someone who pestered me for what seemed like an eternity the satisfaction of being right. Not only would I have to listen to recycled versions of I Told You So for however long I watched or read it, but I also don't want to encourage the idea that someone should continuously spam a recommendation as if I'm not listening, as if I have the memory of a goldfish, as if I'm about to die and this is the last great work on earth that I need to involve myself with before the inevitable occurs. And yet, believe it or not, I don't want to not like something. I don't want to go into a series just to pinpoint all its flaws and come out saying, hey, look, I had a terrible time with this is why it's shit. Because that's a waste of time. If I know I won't like something, why bother to watch it just to put down whoever did like it? There's no point. No one gains and everybody loses. I do like to give things that look like they aren't for me a shot because I don't know until I try. Monster Hunter is a good example of this. I really like Monster Hunter, and that actually might be its own video, but I'm trying to highlight is the near certainty from this text on. I would never see Naruto in a brighter light because I don't want to. I'm compelled to forever maintain an absolutely worthless state of mind over this title only because I don't want to enable this type of badgering behavior. Although he has since stopped now, and it seems like whenever he's into something he's learned to bring it up less often, that still doesn't stop me from envisioning with complete clarity the smugness of his face when he learns that I like Naruto. So with that in mind, my pettiness perseveres. So how should you recommend something you like to other people? Well, it's pretty simple. You go, hey, I watched this thing. It's pretty good. You should check it out. And they say, yeah, sure, I guess I'll check it out at some point. Maybe a few days later you ask, hey, did you watch that thing I mentioned before? And since they haven't said anything about it before, they'll go, oh, no, sorry, just haven't had the time, and that's it. You never bring it up again. Never, ever. Not unless they mention it, ask for recommendations, or years have passed. Just move on immediately to the next thing, please. Obsessing over a series like this isn't always a bad thing, but forcing that obsession onto other people is the problem. Not only that, but it's not as if you're the only one to obsess over something. There are bound to be other people that have similar interests. So sharing that obsession should never be a painstaking process of just grading someone down to eventually cave in and reluctantly take part in your discussion or whatever it may be. My case was extreme. I think. I'm sure there are more psychos on the internet that I could ever interact with in a lifetime, so who knows. But no one should have to endure even a mild form of such a situation, because the solution to this problem is so glaringly simple that I can't fathom why anyone would do this. You can just find someone else to share your interests, or if you really want to get someone else into it, instead of asking one person 100 times, why not ask 100 people once? If your series you speak so highly about is so great, at least one person will try it, right? It would be pretty funny if I just said Naruto wrong the entire time in this video. My brother would constantly tell me that I'm saying it wrong, but I have no clue. I have no clue if I'm saying it correctly or not. I think I used to say Naruto, and I think that's incorrect. I think it's Naruto. I think. If it's not, maybe maybe I should just go for like the worst pronunciation possible. All right, so I think from now on I'm gonna start calling it Naruto. Naruto. There we go. That sounds right. Naruto. Naruto. Yep, got it.